outside, is you ready to?
Yeah, clip dog. What's going on? It's your boy Dusty Locane.
This the fifth club finest. I ain't for the politics, but I ain't for the drama. Couple of faces, couple of no face, no case. A couple of straights, a couple of apes. You understand me? A bunch of wolves.
All right, let's be real. When Pop Smoke left us, the drill scene lost its king. But it didn't take long for a new name to start buzzing in Brooklyn, Dusty Locane. And I know what you're thinking. Does he really deserve the title of Pop Smoke's true successor? Or is this just another case of an artist caught in someone else's shadow?
Nah, I'm paying my respects. But through, like I said, my work ethic and my drive, you're gonna see how we separate, how we differ.
Let's get one thing straight. If you've ever heard Dusty Locane spit, you probably had to do a double take. That deep, gravelly tone that feels like it's cutting through concrete. Yeah, it sounds eerily similar to Pop Smoke's unmistakable growl.
Sit down and make building.
And honestly, that's the first thing that gets people talking. But while the two share vocal similarities, their rap styles tell slightly different stories, like two sides of the same Brooklyn drill coin. Pop Smoke was the life of the party, energetic, confident, and unapologetically flashy. He brought an almost celebratory vibe to drill music, mixing gritty street tales with a sense of triumph. Tracks like Welcome to the Party and Dior were pure adrenaline.
Sit up, never like you know it's special packet with the automatics. We go.
His flow was rhythmic and punchy, hitting you with a cadence that made you want to move. Dusty, on the other hand, leans darker. His music has a heavier, almost haunting energy. It's less about the celebration and more about the survival. Listen to Rollin and Controllin or Rumble, and you'll hear it. His tone is intense, deliberate, like he's telling you a story he's still living through.
Where I'm from, my niggas all put in work. Listen.
Here's where it gets interesting. Both artists mastered the Brooklyn drill blueprint. Hard-hitting 808s, sliding bass lines, and a signature mix of UK-inspired beats with New York swagger. But their approaches were distinct. Pop Smoke's hooks were catchy, almost hypnotic, making his tracks instant club anthems.
Sit up, never like you know it's special packet with the automatics. We gon' send them to heaven. Wait.
Dusty, on the other hand, focuses more on creating mood and atmosphere. His verses are more methodical, giving you time to digest the weight of his words. Where Pop might rap about Christian Dior, Dusty will hit you with lines about loyalty, betrayal, and survival in the trenches. It's like Pop was showing you how to shine in the chaos, and Dusty's showing you how to survive it. But here's the thing, no matter how different their styles are, comparisons were inevitable. Both came from the same stomping grounds, Canarsie, Brooklyn. Both repped Brooklyn drill to the fullest, putting their city and culture on the map. And with Pop Smoke's untimely passing in 20, fans were left with a void, a king without a kingdom.
Now at 11, we're following breaking news. A rap star on the rise during a violent home invasion in the Hollywood Hills this morning.
So when Dusty Locane's Rollin and Controllin dropped later that year, people latched on fast. Some embraced him as the heir to Pop Smoke's legacy, while others accused him of trying to ride Pop's wave. And honestly, it's not hard to see why people were skeptical. The timing of Dusty's breakout felt almost too perfect. His deep voice, his drill-heavy beats, and even his unapologetically Brooklyn persona all screamed Pop Smoke. Social media was quick to call him a clone, but Dusty didn't back down. He made it clear he wasn't trying to replace Pop. He was trying to carve out his own lane. Dusty's talked about how he and Pop ran in the same circles before fame. Was their bond deep or just a neighborhood connection? That part's still up for debate, but let's rewind a bit. Dusty Locane was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, specifically the 95th set of Flossie Canarsie. Growing up in a home filled with Caribbean vibes, his dad Haitian, his mom Trinidadian, young Dusty's earliest soundtrack wasn't hip-hop, but the Saya beats his parents would play.
Yeah, let everybody know where we at.
You're the FIFA, now far. You want me to be exact? I was born and raised, grew up.
Now, Canarsie wasn't just any neighborhood. Living on the 95th set meant being surrounded by Crip culture from day one. And get this, him and Pop Smoke, these two were actually elementary school classmates, getting into mischief together before either of them blew up.
Me in front of PSI is 66, feel me? This right here is where it all started for me in terms of school. It's where I met the cuz, Pop, long live the cuz, you know that D, A stacks, all of them, feel me?
Where Dusty came from, life presented three main paths. You could chase hoop dreams, hit the books and get a regular job, or get involved in street life. Dusty, being ambitious, figured why not try two. He went for basketball but kept one foot in the streets. A decision that would come back to haunt him. When he made it to junior college, everything fell apart quick. New environment, too many distractions, and with his street connections already deep, basketball took a back seat. Within just a semester and a half, conflicts with rivals got him kicked out. Just like that, the hoop dream evaporated. By 17, Dusty was fully immersed in street life, becoming part of the Rolling 60s. That's where the name Dusty Locane came from. Out there with the Woos and the other crews, he built such a reputation that people started calling him the Don Dusty.
Well, like I said, I was always jacking it. Even before that, I wasn't. Like, you know, it was always, like I said, it was something that was in me, not on me. So I jacked Crip before I was Crip. I walk around with a flag around my head, take the train, all of that.
But here's the thing about street life. It's like playing cat and mouse with both rivals and law enforcement. Nobody can dodge both forever. In 2019, Dusty got caught up twice, facing serious charges. While everything looked cool on the surface, inside he was struggling, knowing something had to change. The turning point, surprisingly, was social media. Dusty didn't even have his own accounts, but one day he was in the background of his friend's Facebook Live. The response was wild, especially from the ladies. That's when it clicked. He had people's attention, and maybe this was his chance to do something different with his life. Now, let me tell you about how Dusty Locane found his way into rap. It's actually pretty wild how it all came together. See, Dusty was always heavy into Chicago drill music. It spoke to him on a different level, because those lyrics, man, they were painting pictures of a life he knew all too well. But here's the thing, even though he'd hang in the studio with his boys who were rapping, he'd only drop a casual freestyle if someone really pushed him. Everything changed when he hit Instagram in June 2020. And get this, his first post wasn't some fancy introduction or glossy photo shoot. Nah, he came straight out the gate with some heated words for his opposition. While some guys were trying to test him in the comments, what really caught fire was how the ladies were feeling his whole vibe. But the real turning point, that came during his time behind bars. Sitting in that cell, Dusty had nothing but time to think about his life, his future, and all the weight he was carrying on his shoulders. He was broke, dealing with street beef when he got out, and knew he needed a different way to express himself. Catching another case wasn't an option because he was already on law enforcement's radar. That's when music became more than just something to play with. One day in the studio, he heard this beat that spoke to him, and all those emotions he'd been holding in. They came pouring out in what would become Rollin and Controllin freestyle. When that track dropped, it was like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. Everything exploded. The buzz got even crazier when social media heavy hitters like DJ Ghost and DJ Academics started reviewing the track on their channels. They weren't just playing it, they were really feeling what Dusty was bringing to the game. That cosign sent his numbers through the roof.
Just had to go get it.
Dusty.
Look. Look.
He got it! I'm over here bopping like, oh shit! Dusty kept the momentum going with Rolando, but then he showed everyone that he wasn't just a one-trick pony. On tracks like Intro to Me, Part Round 1, and the Young Blue collaboration, What You Need, he switched up to this more melodic style. Fun fact, in an interview with Bootleg Kev, Dusty revealed he used to sing in the church choir, so those melodic vibes, they were always part of who he was. Then Bobby Fischer, this A&R from Empire, saw something special in Dusty's vision and talent. Their partnership was like something straight out of a Sheen. Dusty signed for $175K, and within just 3 months, that deal got bumped up to $1 million. During the pandemic, while everyone else was locked down, Dusty was locked in the studio, building up an arsenal of tracks. It's crazy to think about. This man went from being broke and locked up to becoming one of Brooklyn's brightest stars. Sure, people started making comparisons to Pop Smoke, his fallen homie from back in the day. But Dusty handled it with nothing but respect, always giving Pop his flowers for opening doors for artists from Canarsie while making it clear he's on his own path. However, his success came with a flip side. Being a Rolling 60s member meant Dusty had to stay extra sharp, using that street-taught paranoia to keep his head on a swivel. Even with success, he kept his militant mind brothers close, ready to handle any situation that might pop off. Things got real serious on July 16, 2021. News broke about what looked like a hit attempt in Manchester that left 4 people injured. Here's what went down. Around 2 a.m., somebody lit up a 15-passenger van on Interstate 293 near Brown Avenue. The people inside managed to make it to Elliott Hospital. Word was, the van was carrying folks who just left Jewel nightclub where Dusty had been performing. But here's the twist. Kevin Grossi from Audible Treats, Dusty's publicist, came out quick to set the record straight. Yeah, Dusty performed at the club that night, but he wasn't in that van. He and his crew had made it home without any drama. Still, it was a reminder that success doesn't make you bulletproof. After that scare, Dusty got back to the music, dropping his debut album, Untamed. But you know how it goes in hip-hop. Can't have the cheese without the beef. Drama started brewing with other artists, particularly Quelly Wu. And the reason? Classic case of a female situation. See, Quelly was already heated because some guys were apparently getting too friendly with his girl. Someone even posted a video of his shorty feeding them grapes in bed. Disrespectful, right? When Dusty jumped in the comments laughing about the situation, things went from 0 to 100 real quick. The back and forth between Quelly and Dusty got intense online. Dusty made it clear, yeah, he might be industry now, but he's still rolling 60s to the core.
Neighborhood rolling 60 straight from
Allegedly.
60s. Allegedly. Back with that. Allegedly.
But that wasn't the end of it. Pop Smoke's brother got involved, dropping multiple videos going at what people thought was aimed at Dusty, calling out anyone trying to ride Pop's wave for clout. Dusty fired back with his own videos, addressing people who talk tough online but act different in person, and things got personal quick. Pop's brother wasn't feeling some comments Dusty made and clapped back hard, even bringing mothers into the mix. Meanwhile, another beef was cooking with Brooklyn rapper Sleepy Hollow, with Sleepy's girl jumping online to say Dusty was trash and they weren't rocking with him. The Big Lock had one message for all his opponents. Just because he made it in music didn't mean he'd gone soft. He reminded everyone that he could still handle business if needed. But here's where things get interesting. Despite all the drama, Dusty and Quelly eventually squashed their beef and linked up. It's like a perfect example of how street life and the music industry can collide. One minute you're dodging bullets, the next you're in the studio. One day you're beefing online, the next you're collaborating with former rivals. That's the complex world Dusty Locane navigates, trying to balance his past, his present, and his future, while staying true to who he is and where he came from. Through all this drama, Dusty managed to keep his career moving forward, showing that success in hip-hop isn't just about making hits. It's about surviving the politics, the beef, and the streets while still pushing your art forward. It's a delicate balance, but so far, the Don Dustys managed to walk that line. But things took an unexpected turn for Dusty Locane, because no matter how far you rise, sometimes your past catches up with you. On November 24th, 2022, Dusty dropped some heavy news on Instagram that shook his fans. He announced he was turning himself in on November 30th for a case he'd been fighting, heading in for what he called a short bid. But what really got to him wasn't the time he'd have to do. It was how this would affect his family, especially his pops who worked in law enforcement. Imagine having to tell your dad, who's dedicated his life to upholding the law, that you're heading to prison. The details started coming out. Dusty had pleaded guilty to 2 weapons possession charges from incidents back in 2019 and 20. The deal wasn't light either. He was looking at a mandatory minimum of 1 year with the possibility of stretching to 3 years behind bars. It was a reality check moment, showing how success in music can't always protect you from your past decisions. By December 2022, pictures started circulating of Dusty behind bars. Bobby Fischer, one of his day ones, kept fans updated by posting on Instagram in January, letting everyone know that despite everything, the Don Dusty was keeping his head up and staying in good spirits. That's the thing about Dusty. Even when life throws curves at him, he finds a way to keep pushing forward. Speaking of pushing forward, Dusty wasn't about to let some bars stop his music. He managed to drop a whole project called From the Flu with Love while locked up. That's the kind of move that shows you who's really serious about their craft, when they can keep creating even in the toughest situations. It's still early in his bid, and now it's a waiting game to see how things play out. Will his career maintain its momentum while he's away? Can he come back even stronger? The streets and the industry have seen plenty of artists go in and come out to different realities. Some bounce back harder than ever, others struggle to regain their footing. But here's the thing about Dusty Locane. Throughout everything we've seen from him, from his rise in Brooklyn to his dealing with beef and industry politics, he's shown he's got something special. The authenticity in his music, the way he handles himself, even how he faced up to his charges instead of running. It all points to someone who's real about who they are and what they do. So where does that leave Dusty Locane? Is he Pop Smoke's rightful successor, or is he forever trapped in the Wu's shadow? Fans are still debating, but one thing's clear: Dusty's made his mark. Whether you see him as the next chapter in Brooklyn drill or just another artist trying to break through, there's no denying his impact. But let's not forget, the drill scene is as unpredictable as it is powerful. Dusty's story is still being written. Will he rise to legendary status, or will the weight of comparisons and controversy hold him back? That's something only time and Dusty himself can answer.